Hi again. So let's see. So this is the second drawing class, and I'm making this video for those of you who are, stuck in quarantine and couldn't make it to class today. All the still lives are picked up. I did set up small still lives for everybody today, so in the center of the table, just like last time, except they were not nearly as complicated. You can see this is just much more simplified. I put a piece of cardboard up so that people didn't have to look. This gave people a little bit of an idea of what was going on behind the objects in the still life. And it was just a few objects because I wanted to focus a little bit more on values today rather than structure and getting the kind of outlines of the forms down. So today it was a little bit more focused on value, not line. Let's see. So the materials that we used, you don't have access to right now unless you have some stuff that you had on hand before. We were using materials that I had, and also some materials came in today. And I can show you a few of those materials. So we have like a grayscale finder, some charcoal pencils in here. We were using Vine charcoal. We got pen and ink, but we weren't using those. And we got these Crow Quill pens and a little thing of ink. These are Micron pens. And, just a few things. We got a set of charcoal pencils as well for everybody with an eraser and a sharpener and a lot of stuff. We haven't gotten our notebooks yet, so I've just been cutting up paper. Okay. So a few things from today. We did 3 drawings based on the still life. And this was the first one. Hope you can see this better than last time. I apologize for the video being a little bit weird. I thought I recorded it so that everybody would be able to see. But when I watched it back again, I could see, you weren't able to see what I was looking at a lot of times. So anyway, this is a quick drawing. We did a 10-minute drawing. This one I took maybe 5 minutes to do. And what we were doing was taking some of these Vine charcoals and lightly getting the idea of the composition, and then using the side and doing like hatching or kind of just filling in the values. Sometimes you could use the side, break off a piece, maybe not this one, but take a bigger chunk and kind of go down this. Now this is softer charcoal and it is easily blended. So this is just to get a little bit of the structure, but also you can blend it in and it creates tone on the paper so that you can then go in with an eraser later. We didn't do this, but you can go in with an eraser and reestablish highlights very easily with this type of drawing material. So you can see how I can use the eraser as a drawing tool. Okay. So not sure if anybody's going to have access to that, but also look what happens. I'm intentionally, I kind of intentionally want to smudge my image and just kind of make it real loose. Now you can see some of this textural stuff that's happening here. That's because of the table. We were using some of these small masonite boards to draw on, and that helps to limit some of this texture that comes through the paper. But it's not going to get rid of all of it. So that was our first project. 10 minutes, revisiting structure, proportions, and taking into account a little bit more value. So breaking down objects into more values. And I actually had more value here, but I, wiped a lot of it away. But I'm getting an idea of what my values are going to be and my structure at the same time using willow and vine charcoal. It's a soft charcoal. This is great to start out a drawing with because it establishes tone on the paper, and then it's easier to kind of build up a fully completed drawing. Okay, the next thing that I did was this gray paper. So I handed out some gray paper, and I handed out a white charcoal pencil and a black charcoal pencil, like a 4B or 2B. Your packets will come with 3 different charcoals, and we can talk about that later, but 2B is hard, 6B is soft. And the softer, you generally work from hard to soft. So hard for more kind of layout stuff, not pressing hard, but just kind of lightly getting imagery down on the paper. And then you gradually go to more compressed. So we work soft materials first, then slightly harder with the 2B just to generally get lighter information. And then we build up our values to the 6B because that allows us to get blacker blacks. And then at the very end, we would go in with some compressed charcoal, something like this. We actually haven't used this yet, but you know, this would be kind of what I go in towards the end to fill in my darkest blacks if I need it. So the point of the gray paper was to lightly do some structure with my black pencil, right? Get these out of here. So go in with some charcoal pencils and lightly go in and give it some structure. You can see I barely did any line work. I just did a little bit. And then I used some hatching marks, so they're all parallel. And hatching here, it's a little bit of a scribbly mark. And then went in with some of the tones here. So generally anything that's blacker than 50% gray, go in with the charcoal. Anything that's lighter or more white than 50% gray, go in with the white charcoal. And it helps to really kind of, the gray of the paper helps to kind of fill in those mid-tones, and it appears like your drawing is much more completed, even though, you know, because you're starting from a gray, adding highlights and adding shadows, rather than having to do all the mid-tones as well. So that was our second drawing. So you can see we're mixing materials and we're changing our approach based on those materials, and you know, it's good practice to change things up. Okay, so this was the last drawing. This is not still life. I did an object that was at this table, and we did our third drawing of just 2 objects. Really was the point. So instead of doing even like 3, 4, 5 objects, we brought it down to just doing a single or 1 or 2 objects, with the focus being primarily values, getting some value into our drawing very quickly. This was a 10-minute drawing. The class, you know, this was I think I let them have about 40 minutes, and they did pretty well with this. This was a fast drawing, so this one was about 15, 20 minutes maybe. And then, so you can see, and then this one we had about 10, 15 minutes at the end of class. This one, I was very bold with my mark making. So you can see, if I saw that gray in this object, I just put that down using the side of my willow charcoal. Take this, break off a piece like that, and really like go to town making some tone, and then all the background information, and then I smudged it all around. So I blended it all up so that it made a nice tone, kind of like recreating the gray of the paper here. So put a lot of value down, a lot of just light kind of gray anywhere that I saw that there was shadows. I only left a little bit of the drawing here with the white. Once I had all of that down and I had a basic idea of some of these values, you know, like it was important that I did the background here because it revealed the highlights here. If I didn't do the background in this section, then it would be like light and light. So I needed the background to reveal the highlights in this jug. And that was a big part of this last drawing, is getting people to realize that they can't ignore the background, they can't ignore the foreground. You have to treat the entire piece of paper as one drawing. The drawing is not the thing that you're drawing. The drawing is the whole piece of paper, the entire environment around the objects. So dealing with still lifes, you'll notice all of my drawings, you know, I'm working the entire piece of paper. I'm not ignoring anything, okay? After I went in with the Vine charcoal and smudged everything around, created some tone, had a little bit of highlights in there, I went in afterwards with like a 4B soft charcoal pencil and literally just went in and reestablished some of my darker darks, went in with a little bit of a different angle on some of these areas, and I just kind of tightened up. I looked around my corners and just went around lightly, finding some lines, finding some darker shadows in here, and this was very, very fast, so you can see how, you know, this would have been developed, you know, you could see how it could develop if I let myself take the time. But a big part of this is working fast. Every project right now, you should be timing yourself, making yourself work. So you want your hand to be moving almost the entire time. You want your eyes and your hand to be going back and forth. If I'm only looking at my drawing and I'm not looking at the still life, then it's not going to be accurate. I want to be spending the majority of my time with my eyes down here and my head pointed towards this. I'm moving my eyes, I'm not moving my head. So I can switch my eyes back and forth between the two. Okay, that was basically it. Now you're not going to be able to really do these drawings because you might not have the Vine charcoal like this. You might not have a larger piece of paper. You might not have the gray toned paper. You don't have the white charcoal, and you know, it's just probably not convenient for you at this moment to be able to do that stuff. So I'm probably gonna send, when I upload this video, I'm gonna send you an email with a different assignment. I'm probably gonna have you do something that's more like a color and design project that I would have done with people just doing an object and experimenting with hatching and cross hatching, because that is a big part of drawing. And so I think you could practice that with any materials at home, even just graphite pencil. So I think that's what we're gonna do, because I know you can't do this right now, okay? I look forward to meeting everybody, and I hope to see you soon. I'll touch base with the email, and I'd like to find out how things are coming for you. So we'll touch base later tonight, and you can send me an email. Just let me know how your quarantine is, when you expect to be back in class, and any concerns that you might have or anything like that. Okay, we can set up a short meeting too if you want to, like a Zoom meeting. So, all right, take care. See you soon.